Was the strip really as wild as they say? Because have you ever heard the story Bruce Willis told about the walking down the LA Strip?
Oh no.
He said that, well, frankly, I think this was after Die Hard or Moonlight and whatever. He said that this, well, not a groupie, this like woman fan came over to speak to him, and they said, so like a group of people made a circle to block the view, and she blew him right in the street.
Yeah, I mean, do I believe it? Yes. Was it crazy? It's what it was. And the thing that's so different is like, I ended up opening up a cat house in Arizona several times. And when we would go to Arizona, you had the people from Hollywood that would go to Arizona that felt like they could get away with much more. And then you had the people from Arizona that said, hey, we've got to live up to this Hollywood lifestyle. So, I mean, there was a beer cooler, and I remember a girl that had no problem just giving oral sex to whichever guy would come in. And now when I tell the story, it's like disgusting. The Me Too movement. How could you victimize this woman who wanted to be in that position? And it was all fun. But you look back at it now, I can look back at it and say, wow, that girl, she probably blew like 10 guys. She probably had, some serious abuse in her past, and there were some mental issues. But back then it was like, dude, this girl's giving blowjobs in the beer closet, and you didn't think of it that way, or the ramifications. I mean, some of these stories that we're going to tell are going to sound so disgusting and sexist, and they were, but that was that era. It wasn't like we were taking advantage of obvious victims with abuse. I mean, some of these women, many of the women and we're doing a show pretty soon with Charisse, which is Vince's ex-wife, and it's not necessarily just to do tell all and the truth about the dirt. It's to talk about the way the women were at the time. And even though a lot of the women may have been looked upon as being sex objects, many times they put themselves in that position. They wanted to be. They know they were the queens. They knew they were the power. And there is nothing wrong with going out and having sex for fun, as long as you're not forcing it on somebody or manipulating somebody. You're just going out and getting off. And it was, people put themselves into that situation, hopefully voluntarily. And we didn't look at it as like, oh my God, this girl probably was abused back then. How can I do this? It's like, no, let's do it,
But that's the thing that always makes me laugh, when you can feel yourself maturing based on how you think of women. Because it used to be when I was younger, if I seen a girl wearing very little, I would think, oh, look at that slut. I bet she's a whore. I bet you I could get her and all that stuff. But nowadays, if I see a girl wearing very little, I think, oh, look at her. She looks cold. Should I give her my jacket? She might need to go inside.
Yeah, or you go to strip bars and it was like, look at those tits, and then it's like, oh, your dad didn't love you enough, or maybe your dad loved you too much. I don't know what the problem is.